Welcome back to another tutorial on my channel. Today we're going to be going over 2FA, how to set it up, and some common questions I've heard in the community. This is going to be an accompaniment to my text-based tutorial, which will be on a wiki page for 2FA. Let's get started. What even is 2FA? So 2FA stands for, yes, good English, Prime, stands for two-factor authentication, and it's a way to add an extra layer of security to your Neos account. Now, Neos accounts by themselves are quite secure, but if you want to, or in some cases when you need to, add an extra layer of security on top of that, we have 2FA for you. So 2FA basically requires you to enter a code from a second factor source. What I mean by that is a second device or a second application when you do certain actions. The actions that are supported by 2FA right now are logging in, sending credits to other people, and withdrawing Neos credits to an external wallet. This will all make a lot more sense when I start to set it up. I've got a fully worked out example here. We're even going to send some credits over to another user on Neos. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my dash. Let me refocus Neos actually first. Open up my dash here. I'm using a test account, hence the sort of comical name in the top right there, top left even. Don't worry about it too much. All of these details will be reset after this tutorial, so we can go ahead and forget any sort of security concerns that are being shown with this particular account, but generally you shouldn't be setting this stuff up that other people can be seeing it. I do recommend setting up 2FA in desktop mode. It's going to be a lot easier. Just go ahead, launch in desktop mode or use the F8 mode to get over into desktop mode and get things set up. So here we are in desktop mode. I'm going to go over and to the click. I'm going to go over and click the right-hand menu option here on the right-hand side of the home screen of the dash that says Set up 2FA. Clicking Set up 2FA here will bring up this dialog. Now, this dialog talks about a authentication app and also talks about TOTP. That is an abbreviation which I have, of course, just forgotten the abbreviating thing for, but I know it stands for time something. Doesn't really matter. If your application provider supports TOTP, then you'll be just fine. Listed there on that dialog are two well-known TOTP providers that are called Authy and Google Authenticator. Today we're going to be using Google Authenticator. I'll put a list of other TOTP applications in the video description that I kind of have looked at. I haven't sort of security validated any of these. I do know Google Authenticator and Authy are great, but the rest on the list I'm not quite sure on. So that'll be in the video description if you're not satisfied with that list. You'll also need a mobile phone, ideally, to install one of these apps onto. The reason behind this is that 2FA stands for second factor, and the second factor is usually meant to be on a secondary device. In security, there's sort of a quote. I don't really know who said it, or even if it's good these days, but it is relevant for this particular topic, which is that for security, you should have something you know, which is your password, something you have, which is usually your second factor authentication device, and then something you are, which is usually a fingerprint or maybe a face for facial recognition. Neos doesn't support fingerprints or facial recognition, but it does support 2FA. Let's go ahead and keep going. So once you've got your 2FA provider set up, installed on your phone, you can go ahead and start by scanning that QR code. You're in luck today that I've got a little bit of a unique setup for just this tutorial video, which is I've got a webcam launched. Now, don't worry about it too much. You're just going to see my phone, not my face or anything. Although there is a Pokemon plushie in the back. Points to anyone in the comments who names that Pokemon. Anyway, so here we have Google Authenticator's home screen. At the bottom right there, you can just see positioning this web camera was kind of difficult. It's actually on top of a coffee mug. We're going to go ahead and hit plus on the bottom hand side here. So we'll hit plus, and it's going to say scan a QR code. So that'll open up the camera on the phone. So I'm going to go ahead, take that, scan the QR code, which is on my screen, and then put the phone back where it needs to go. There we go. And so you'll see now that we've got an account added on Google Authenticator. It says neosvr Daddy Prime, and it's got a code there. You'll also notice on the right-hand side, there's a pie chart, which is slowly emptying. That will empty every 30 seconds, and then every 30 seconds, a new code will appear. That's part of the time-based element from it. So even if I were to show you or give you or enter one of these codes, I don't know how to generate the next one or the next one after that. And that's the whole point of it. This phone itself is generating those codes, not the first authenticator, which is the computer that you're on. And that's why it's a little bit more secure. Only the phone knows how to generate this. So if, let's say, a hacker steals your computer or steals your password, they don't have the information to generate this code. You'll also see, if you don't want to use a QR code, there is that secret code bottom option in the bottom there that starts with LTH. You'd be able to just type that in manually. I do recommend the QR code approach where applicable, though. So we're going to go ahead and hit continue. on here, let me turn off the webcam for just a moment. We'll come back to it, I promise. If we hit continue here, you'll see that we have this recovery code screen. Recovery codes are so important. I see a lot of people just treating them not as importantly as they should. Recovery codes are codes that you can use in the event that you have lost your phone. If you drop your phone in a lake, you'll need these recovery codes. If you do not have these recovery codes, you will permanently lose access to your account. Permanently. So please take these codes seriously. At the bottom here, you'll see there is a copy to clipboard button. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I do. What I do is I copy these to clipboard, and then I go ahead and I grab a notepad document, just any old notepad document, and I paste them into here, and then I save that notepad document. I won't do that right now, but I'll save that notepad document directly to a flash drive. And then I'll save it to another flash drive. And then I hide one of those flash drives somewhere in my apartment, and I hide that second flash drive somewhere not in my apartment, usually at my bank. That way, if my house burns down and I lose my phone and I lose the flash drive in my house, I still have some backup codes somewhere else. I have lots of backup codes for many accounts stored on that flash drive that is at the bank or hidden somewhere in my apartment. Never going to tell you where, it's just there. If you do not save these in some fashion, completely up to you, you will lose access to this account permanently. So save these codes. I'm not going to say it again. Save these codes. Well, I did say it one more time, but I'm not going to say it again after that. So once you have these codes saved, and I hope that you did, you can go ahead and hit continue. And what it's going to say here is, in order to validate that you've got 2FA set up correctly on your mobile device, it's going to ask you to enter a code. So you'll see here at the bottom it says enter the 6-digit token. You'll see currently I've got 817784. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that. 819 actually. 784. Did that just change or maybe not? Okay, so we'll go ahead and activate. And then it'll say, hey, 2FA is now set up. So then it'll say, currently any NCR interactions will require you to input your code. You can optionally enable this for account login with the enable login 2FA command. But note that this requires you to use web login command before you log on account.neos.com. I recommend doing this. This will protect your account and anything saved on the inventory. So just message Neosbot with enable login 2FA. If you don't do that, you won't be required to enter your 2FA code when you log in. I recommend doing this. So now that this is done, we can go ahead and hit close on the 2FA dialog. And I can go ahead and hit add account on my phone. There we go. I'm doing magic things by dipping a glove in a glass of water. Come on, focus, camera. Focus, right here. Okay, we're just going to continue for a moment and let that phone have a freak out. Please, phone, please. Anyway, so that's 2FA set up. I'll turn off the webcam for just a moment. Let's now see how this works in principle. So if we go over to contacts here, you'll see I've added NJBank. NJBank's just a bot. I knew it would answer my friend request immediately. It's quite late at night, and so I didn't want to bother anyone. If I go ahead and try and send credits to it, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit send credits. I'm going to hit KFC. I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to send it a grand total of 1 KFC, and I'm going to hit next. And I'm going to hit send. And it's going to ask for my 2FA token. So I'd have to go back to my phone, which still isn't focused. Come on, focus. There we go. And I would then have to say, cool, I want to enter that code. So 254596. Send. Success. And there you go. I've sent NJBank 1 KFC, and it's basically told me you probably shouldn't have done that. That's totally fine. I was using it as a test. There you go. That's the using 2FA to send currency. Next, I want to cover how to turn off 2FA. Now, turning off 2FA can be done in 2 ways. One requires you to have your 2FA device to hand, and one means that you've lost it. So let's cover the first way. I can go down here to the Setup 2FA button again and hit Setup 2FA. And then it will say, hey, 2FA is currently set up. If you want to deactivate it, you'll need to enter a code. So I would enter here 447125, and then it would deactivate. You only need to enter 1 2FA code for it to deactivate. But let's say that the worst has happened here, and that I've lost my 2FA here. Here you go. I've removed my 2FA provider. So now I don't have 2FA. I've dropped my phone in a lake. I've deleted the data on my phone. I don't have that right now. How can I deactivate it? I can go ahead and I can use a backup code. So here are those backup codes from before. I'm going to go ahead and take this first one that starts with X, put it on my clipboard, paste it into here, and hit deactivate. And it'll say, hey, 2FA has been deactivated, and I can hit close, and I'm back to not having 2FA. So there you go. That's how to deactivate it. You can either enter a 2FA code from your phone or a backup code that you've stored somewhere safe. And that's all there really is to it. If you see, I'll hit setup 2FA again, you'll see it'll go back through the setup again. So there you go, that's 2FA for you. Do check the wiki link, which will be in the video description, and the video description for some more information. I know I wasn't as eloquent as I could have been in this video. It's a very difficult topic to talk about, especially with the sort of phone there and things like that. So thank you for bearing with me, and I'll see you next time. I hope that's provided some information on how 2FA works. I will speak to you later. Bye-bye.